Club Candy. Chapter 7. Pennies, Nickels, and Dimes. The transformation of the Reynolds' small apartment was a quiet revolution, a domestic coup staged not with weapons, but with chocolate bars and penny caramels. The mountain of cardboard boxes, once a monument to Joe's shame, was dismantled. Under Eleanor's steady direction, the living room became a storeroom, a distribution center, and a storefront. The candy was sorted, counted, and arranged with meticulous care that bordered on reverence. The space behind the worn armchair became the chocolate section. The top of the bookshelf, cleared of old magazines, now displayed lollipops and hard candies, their cellophane wrappers glinting like jewels in the dim light. Life in the project had always had its own rhythms, its own unofficial clock. There was the morning exodus of the men heading to work, the midday lull when the heat was at its most ferocious, the evening return, and the long, slow slide into night. Now there was a new, unmissable beat in that rhythm, the 2 o'clock opening of the Candy Lady's house. It was an unspoken appointment. As the sun began its slow descent from its zenith, a current of anticipation would ripple through the neighborhood. Children would emerge from their apartments, their play slowing, their eyes turning toward the Reynolds' front door. They came with their pennies, their nickels, their youthful, urgent need for a taste of sweetness. Eleanor was the heart of it all, a figure of serene authority. She never raised her voice, never showed impatience. She simply sat in her chair by the door, a small metal box in her lap, and presided over her small kingdom. She had a knack for remembering faces, for knowing which child favored the chocolates and which preferred the sour balls. She treated each transaction with a solemn gravity, making every child feel seen, important. Her porch was no longer just a slab of concrete. It was a marketplace, a confessional, a sanctuary. It was the place where a penny could buy not just a piece of candy, but a moment of dignity. And the neighborhood watched. The women sitting on their own stoops fanning themselves in the oppressive heat saw it all. Their talk, a constant flowing river of observation and speculation, now had a new, fascinating tributary. "Lord, look at that line," one would say, shaking her head in wonder. "She got more customers than the corner store." "And she ain't gouging 'em neither," another would add, her voice a mixture of admiration and suspicion. "Penny for a chocolate bar? She can't be making much." "She's making something," Miss Hattie would say from her perch, her voice carrying the weight of finality. "She's making a community. Ain't the same thing as making money." They also saw Joe Reynolds change. The defeated slump was gone from his shoulders, replaced by a new, quiet purpose. In the evenings, after his shift at the docks, he would sit with Eleanor and help her count the day's earnings. He would break down the empty boxes, his movements no longer fueled by shame, but by a sense of partnership. He was a part of this, a silent partner in an enterprise that was bringing not just money, but a new kind of respect to his family. He and Eleanor were a team, their whispered conversations in the dark no longer about lack, but about inventory, about plans, about the future. Their home, once defined by what it lacked, was now defined by what it offered. The scent of sugar and chocolate mingled with the familiar smells of collard greens and cornbread. The sound of children's laughter was a constant melody. The Candy Lady was no longer Eleanor Reynolds. She was a character in the neighborhood's collective story, a figure of folklore in the making. She was the woman who had taken the world's bitter offerings and had, through some mysterious and powerful magic, turned them into something sweet, something that belonged to them all. The enterprise was more than a business. It was an act of defiance, a declaration that even here, in the forgotten corners of the city, joy could be cultivated and a life could be built, one penny, one piece of candy at a time. Next episode, Chapter 8, The Secret.